Hey everyone, this is your host Fatih, and you're listening to Heads in Tails. I'm very grateful for your attention, as well as the kind souls around me who are helping me to display people's stories in the best light. Today, I'm more than thrilled to introduce someone truly special, Theodore. Theo was my deskmate in Thai class, and she recently got accepted to a college here in Chiang Mai, which is not surprising at all. Theo has provided more insights than most adults I've spoken to in my life. Her interests and intelligence really shine through the heavy topics we discussed, ranging from the subtext of education and the intricate nature of existence. She had valuable perspectives to share with me all throughout the conversation. And as the great poet Kendrick Lamar once said, "As I get a little older, I realize life is perspective. And my perspective may differ from yours. But that's the beauty of life. Only after discerning well can we hold different perspectives as equally valid." So, without any further ado, please give a warm welcome to Theodore. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
You're good? Where are we right now?
Blue coffee at CMU.
Blue coffee at CMU. It's a partly cloudy day.
Yeah. I thought it's gonna rain this morning, but luckily.
Yeah. Last night it was kind of rainy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How do you feel different in rainy season versus like Songkran and beginning of summer or other seasons?
Actually, I love raining season, especially if I got to stay inside. Of course.
Right.
It's you know how hot Myanmar is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's better in rainy season.
Yeah. Also, it cleans the air. That's the most important part for me.
Yeah, actually, back in my country, it's not as polluted as here, so it doesn't make much difference. But in Chiang Mai, actually, it's very different. Okay, from my room, you could see the mountains and stuff. It's high up in it's 11th floor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait,
so
here?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Really? Damn.
The dorm, actually, it's just an apartment, but it's kind of turned into a dorm. In like a polluted day, particularly polluted day, you couldn't see these mountains at all. But in rainy season, it cleans up a lot, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah. What do you think about the quality of the rain? Because the other day I was going back home, and I got caught in the rain, and I had to be on my computer, so I was like, whatever, and I just on my bicycle, so I went through the rain. I was drenched. Like there wasn't a single part of my body that was dry, so everywhere was wet. But then I had to take a shower. I felt like, because the rainwater doesn't feel, because if all the pollution, if the rain is taking all the pollution, it's like ugh.
Actually, yeah, it's true. And it doesn't rain enough, actually.
Right?
Yeah. It's just a couple of hours, and that's all.
No. Even shorter, like 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. So it cleans up, but it doesn't do much, I guess. And it shows when on your hair.
Yeah.
Especially, all this, it get mad pretty quickly here.
Yeah. So, did you move into the dorm recently, or?
No, ever since I got here.
Oh wow! You straight went for the dorm.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got a friend here in CMU student.
I see.
So she found a place for me.
Nice. So you got to stay in the dorm even without your scholarship and stuff?
No, I'm not even a student here.
Right.
And it's an outside dorm, not the.
Okay.
It's okay.
Got you. Yeah, I thought it was like a part of CMU.
Actually, there's a lot of CMU students in there in my dorm, but it's outside of the university compound, so
Right.
it's outside dorm, but still a dorm.
I see. Nice. Well, you obviously haven't started. Hold on. You obviously haven't started yet, but can you compare university campus at least? You know, Myanmar campuses. It's over here.
Actually, I haven't gone to university in my country, so I'm not sure.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I didn't even finish high school.
What?
War.
Don't tell them. Okay, no one needs to know. But she didn't even finish high school. How the hell did you get your fucking...
I got GED.
Oh, you got GED.
Yeah, it was in my last high school year,
Mhm.
and then COVID happened, and I didn't want to wait for it to go back to normal, so I just took GED instead. Get it done.
Smart. But wow. Okay. Who are you?
Computer science student.
Computer science student.
Yeah. Actually, it's the SAT test
Uh-huh.
that helped me with my scholarship, and I'm proud of it.
Oh. You mean the SAT for America, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I was first aiming for American university because they give a lot of scholarship, right?
I don't know that.
It's depending on the SAT score you get. Yeah, but I didn't get any scholarship. Actually, I got one from Columbia College, but it doesn't cover fully, so I can't afford to go there.
How much is university for computer engineering these days?
In Thailand,
Let's start with Thailand.
it's 100,000 bahts.
100,000 baht. That's
Yeah,
like
good.
$30,000? No.
Yeah, 3,000,
3,000,
2,000, just
yeah.
around there.
Yeah.
And that is expensive for here.
It is. I mean, I always look at it from a perspective of how am I going to make this money back? Okay, I get it. It's everything in life needs investment, right?
Yeah.
And people who understand that if you spend money, you can earn more money. And those people are generally more successful. But I want to know if my deal is, preferable. So you want me to put down $30,000 a year, probably, or is it like 4 years?
A year.
A year. Okay. Great. So 120. I need to be making this back in. So, I don't think you're gonna make $120,000 a year, in like a job in Thailand.
Yeah.
It might be plausible if you do that job remotely for Europe or America.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially since tech jobs pays a lot, right?
Exactly.
And my career path that I chose also pays a lot, but it depends on where I work. But yeah, maybe in 5 years, it might cover back all the. I think so.
What's your career path? What did you choose?
Okay, it's first I'm gonna do the software engineer, like the normal stuff,
Right.
and I want to go to master for robotic engineering.
Ooh, like
Yeah.
Stridman style.
Yeah, I love robotics. So maybe after master I'll get into robotic engineering.
Okay, that sounds cool. I don't like introducing people on the podcast. I think it's more interesting to hear how people introduce themselves. So go ahead. Give a little short intro. We don't have to make a thing of it.
Actually, I am kind of like a nerd, and I am a nerd.
I love the double layer confirmation. I'm kind of a nerd. No, I'm a nerd.
And in high school, it's actually I'm just kind of like I don't have any interesting stuff about me. So
I disagree, but go on.
I'm a cat person.
Huh?
I love books, and
Nice.
that's the most important thing about myself. So this is my introduction.
Lovely. And if you would just spare your name for our lovely audience.
I'm Theodore. Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you so much for listening to our episode with Theodore. Okay, so let's get into it. Before the recording, I asked you if you listen to any podcasts. Tell me the one that you listen to.
Oh, welcome to Night View.
Night Feel.
Night View.
Night Feel,
Yeah.
okay.
Again, it's a imaginary town in the middle of the California desert.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't exist, but it's like a news station telling about all this stuff that's happening in the town. And then the host themselves, it's not a human,
Okay.
but
Like an extraterrestrial being, or
yeah,
like a
that town is
angel,
full of them.
alien. I see.
I love that weird vibes.
Reading books or listening to podcasts?
Reading,
Reading.
yeah. And that's how I messed up all my pronunciation.
Because you know how it looks like.
Yeah, I can spell, but I don't know how to speak.
Yeah. That's it's impressive when you listen to people talk about like science and like they're mispronouncing words. So you can go about it in two ways. You can be like, like you don't even know how to say the word, or you can be like, wow, this person is self-taught. Like they didn't hear it from other people. They read it themselves, and that's why they don't know how to pronounce the word.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think
most people don't think like them, so you're cool about it.
yeah. That's really cool. So what kind of books do you generally find yourself reading?
Fantasy.
Fantasy books.
Dystopian fantasy, mystery, that kind of stuff.
Any favorite worlds?
Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson.
And then the Crescent City, do you know that?
Yeah.
From Sarah J. Maas. What else? Actually, my favorite first that got me into this reading stuff was Harry Potter, like most of
course,
other, yeah.
Of course.
But I just hang up on Percy Jackson, and then web novels, and of course fanfics.
Right. That's funny because I would assume. Well, I was guessing you would tell me more about the non-fiction stuff. You know.
Oh, no, actually.
That's not like enjoyable reading. That's more like I have to read this.
Yeah, more like it.
Yeah.
And like non-fiction, I don't really read it, but I tend to get into this rabbit hole of Wikipedia search. So that's how I get most of my little tidbits of facts. But yeah, I don't read non-fiction that much.
I think life is enough for non-fiction. We don't need more.
Yeah. But I love these history things.
Like facts about history?
The Greek wars, Persian wars, I like that kind of things, but not the World War II or things.
Not too recent. You want to go back.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
love
fiction.
this,
So it feels like fiction.
Mythology.
Yeah. I did 4 years of English language and literature
Ooh.
in university. So there was a lot of reading. Fiction, a lot of Shakespeare, a lot of Milton.
Do you get to write too?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I wrote a lot. And I realized writing is hard, difficult.
Yeah.
Because it's if you want to see someone's ideas, if you want to see how someone thinks, it's better to look at their writing, because in speech it's harder to sort of organize the information in like one succinct kind of like area. But when you're writing, I think it's way more like that's that's where you can see the quality of someone's thinking. And it's difficult because as a Turkish person, or like as in the education system, I only had a little bit of background to writing from America. Like the first years, like second grade, third grade, fourth grade, I wrote a little bit, but still it's just sentences, you know. I didn't write whole paragraphs or, you know, like a paper or anything. In Turkey we don't have that kind of education. There's no planning, there's no ideation, there's no like walkthrough on how to create an idea and then write about it. You know, like do research and then write about it. You generally have like an introduction, a body, and the conclusion.
Yeah.
That's like the simplest way. And obviously there's way more different devices that you can use. But yeah, I didn't receive enough information to be able to write well. But in university I got a lot of exposure and experience. Do you like writing?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I did write.
What do you write?
Fanfics.
Of course.
And actually I took this not creative writing, English literature class in my online university, and I wrote about this zombie apocalypse and the sentient zombie. The narrator is sentient zombie.
So they're aware that they're a zombie?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not this mindless.
Okay. Yeah, they're not like
Yeah.
Okay.
He got aware.
Intelligent zombie.
Yeah,
They talk about philosophy and stuff.
And he got this sentient by eating other zombies' core.
Oh.
Yeah. I wrote about this journey, I guess.
Nice. Where is the zombie's core?
Actually, it's the heart.
Oh, the heart of the zombie. Okay.
You know how zombies are like human turned into undead something, yeah? And their my lore was that their heart froze into this crystal. I was making up a lot of facts. And that zombie, the narrator, just ate that heart and got sentient, and the more he ate, the more he intelligent he got. Like he got his brain back, like that kind of thing.
But still a zombie. It doesn't
It's
recover.
still a zombie.
Okay, it doesn't recover.
So other zombie
Does the zombie become dependent on the stuff that he's eating, the crystal hearts, crystallized hearts?
Actually, he got not dependent on it, but he got stuff because there was this adventure team that kind of adopted him into the team, but they are a bit toxic, and they were just using him because the other zombie still recognize him as a zombie, so they won't attack him. So they are using him as a shield to get what they want. So it was a lot of psychological stuff and all this, you know, power imbalance, I guess. And in that war, the law was that, you know, there's 4 horsemen of apocalypse.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was based on that. And in the end, this sentient zombie get to meet with the death, and he saved the death saved the zombie from this team. So yeah, it was supposed to be a found family, but I kind of just
You went in a little dark place there.
Yeah. And it just happened to be a toxic found family.
It's funny. It's funnier because we talked about your parents a little bit, and they don't sound very toxic.
No, I have the best family actually.
Yeah, you do.
And
but it's weird that you fantasize about toxic family dynamics.
I got friends, you see.
I see.
Yeah, I was like their support friend, the mom of the friend group, the therapist of the friend group. So I got
what?
a therapist.
Therapist.
So I got a lot of this story, and I have nowhere to talk it back because I don't
Sure.
want to break their trust.
Sure.
So I just put it all in my story.
Smart. That's really smart. Yeah, I heard artists say, if you want to tell people truth, make art.
Yeah.
That way people won't kill you.
And
Truth is not easy to handle for most people.
it's kind of funny because in most of these Asian families, their love is kind of very strange, you know.
Tell me about it.
Their way of loving is a bit scary.
Overwhelming?
Not overwhelming, but their love kind of hurt you.
How?
They will just say they are doing it for you. They are doing it for your good, but actually it's just hurting you more than doing good for you, kind of thing.
Okay.
Because in their perspective, actually, the parents themselves have a lot of childhood trauma.
Right.
It's like a theme I see, and they kind of pass it down on their children. Their children's is like their second run of their life, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I saw this one nice video. I forgot the Sarah something. The holistic psychiatrist. I don't know. She has a good Instagram page. I'll fish it out. Sarah Alchemist. The Alchemist. She's on Instagram. You should follow her. It's a nice page. So she found this video online to demonstrate like generational trauma, and it's like a bottle or a glass rather, but dirty water with dirty water, and there's like three bottles, three glasses side by side. So the dirty water she would spill into the other cup, but the other cup has a little bit of water under it, right? So the dirty water is less dirty.
Yeah.
And then you take that up and then you pour it into the other one that has more water, and she just keeps pouring it, and to undo that trauma you kind of have to add clear water. And most generations, they just don't do anything about it, you know. They're just like, that's the way the world is, and grow up, you know. And so you just have contaminated water. But if you or me were trying to break generations of trauma, then we just keep adding water. And at the end, you don't transfer any more traumas to your kid, so it's great. But you did a lot of work, and you get like tired in the end.
And I think the younger generation is better about this mental health. They got more awareness than the older generation, so I think they are adding the clear water.
Yeah. I was just looking at a video last night before I went to bed about how people, like the older generations, always like, but they don't want to work, you know. Like they're like, we want new jobs, we want better life. It's like, yeah, like all of us want a better life. This is like a 60-70-year-old man speaking. All of us want a better life, but you know, like no one likes being poor. Yeah, like being poor is not good, but we have to work for it. So instead of like kids saying like this and that, we need this, we need that, a better strategy is to work for it. What do you say?
Yeah, it's true.
No, don't say it's true.
It is true.
Say fuck them. I don't care. They don't understand it. Be like, you don't have the answers. You don't have the answers, old man.
And about this job,
Yeah.
the older generation kind of get it easier, I guess, because I have read about this post where they just walk into the job, hand in their resume,
Right.
and they got the job.
That easy.
Yeah, that
Bada bing,
easy.
bada boom.
Yeah, but in this era, there's a lot of competitors, right?
Oh,
yeah, it's much, much harder to get a job.
And the
they don't-
competition's way more cutthroat, you know?
Exactly. And even if you have a degree, it doesn't matter much actually, right? And yeah, the older generation just don't understand this change, I guess.
Yeah, there's definitely a dynamic shift where it's less about the information, it's more about application.
For jobs?
Yeah. I mean, in general, if you want all this information, because in the past we didn't have information, you know, like we would have to go to encyclopedia, and like being knowledgeable was like something weird. But now, like 12-year-old kids are more smarter than like scholars 500 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, just by the sheer fact that we have all these notebooks and sort of tablets and phones with us. So there's a surplus of information, but there's a lack of application. So we have all this information, but we're not applying it anywhere, or the knowledge is not implemented in my life. So if I have it on my phone, it doesn't mean anything if I don't do anything with it, you know. That's what people pay money for. Like, they don't pay money for information. Oh, I have this knowledge about. Yeah, we all know that. Like, how can I implement it in my life?
You have knowledge, but you don't know how to use it.
Yes. So tell me about that a little bit. How to use knowledge. How do you use knowledge?
It depends on experience, isn't it? No? Because you don't know how to use it unless you have used it before.
Right.
Kind of like that. Especially now that I'm learning web developing, software developing stuff. I know in theory how to do that. I had this knowledge in this term, but I don't know how to use it in like the actual office stuff. Like,
Sure.
In work, I don't know how to. I won't know how to do that because I only know the theory and class and all these assignments, but I've never actually used it for like the actual stuff. So yeah. But then again, to get this experience, you have to work.
Yes.
And to get the work, you have to get the experiences.
Yeah, it feels like this never-ending sort of, rat race.
Yeah.
Or not rat race. It's kind of like what's the right word to describe this thing? It's like a chicken and the egg problem almost. You know. By the way, I met T in language class, Thai class, and she said, "Oh, like, I'm better than all of you. I have a scholarship for a computer science degree," and I was like, "Wow, okay."
I didn't say that.
I know. Just kidding. But yeah, she is a very attentive listener, and I love it when people listen. You know. A lot of people don't listen these days. They're just thinking about the next thing they want to say to each other. And whenever I get that energy of like, this person listens, I want to talk to them.
Oh, thank you. Like I said before, I was the therapist of my group, yeah?
Yes.
So this listening is the only skill I have to help them.
Yes.
Because I was a kid like them. So there's nothing I could do to actually help, and just listening.
Right.
So, yeah.
You're good. Tell me more about the therapist position, because I find myself a little bit in this position as well. Like, people come to my life, not friends, just sometimes the weirdest people, you know, just like passing. And especially since I'm traveling here. Well, I'm living in Chiang Mai, but it's I treat it as traveling, right? There are some people who come into my life and they're like a wreck, you know, like they're trying to be better. I will say, trying to be better, but where they are at is like, compared to where there will be, in a few years or a few months, is not desirable. And I find myself in positions where I sit down and listen, not necessarily give them advice, because I think that's when you start taking on responsibility, and you don't want that. Whenever you say any advice thing, I always like to finish it with, but I don't know though.
Right, exactly.
Just like, don't take any liability.
Because we are not actually qualified to give this advice. So.
So, did it begin when you were in university or
High school.
high school? Oh shit! All right.
I haven't been to university
you
yet.
haven't been there yet. Yeah. Okay. I keep forgetting.
And you know how the Asian household, right?
Right.
And there's a lot of competitiveness, and the children are kind of pressured by it. And the parents get physical
Yeah.
when they don't meet their expectations, and all this neglect and
Where does it come from? Okay, so we talked about the generational bit, right? So they can't help it. That's what they saw, and that's the only thing they can apply. But what else do you think contributes to this?
I guess it's competitiveness. They care a lot about grades.
Right.
The parents cares a lot about grades. The children are, they don't care.
Do you care?
I do.
I do care. Okay.
Back then, I was a nerd. I told you, I'm still the nerd, but
Yes.
I know about it now.
Yeah.
And
You're more powerful.
oh, thank
You're a
you.
more powerful nerd because you're an aware nerd.
Like the zombie. Okay, so because your social status in high school depends on your grade and the rankings.
Yep.
And the parents compete on other parents with
Right.
how good their children are.
Right.
And this ranking is everything.
Right.
And they would compete each other children and beat them if they don't get this good enough.
Yep. Grades, right? Discipline.
And actually, I think it makes it worse because the children might be interested in this subject before, but now that they are forced to get better at it, they just don't like it anymore. I guess they have this negative association with the subject now, and they are not interested anymore, even though they were good at it before.
Yes.
And it makes it worse, and this feedback loop goes on, and it
Forever.
yeah.
Yeah, I hear that a lot, where it's not, you don't hate math, you just hate this person.
Yeah. And it happens a lot in education system, I guess, and the society. You know, there's Asian stereotypes where the only career path you should choose is doctor or engineer, right?
Oh yeah, there's the funny Family Guy skit. Are you doctor yet? Dad, I'm 14. Talk to me when you're doctor.
And so every parents are kind of push their children to be doctor, and in Myanmar education system, to be a doctor you have to get like the best grades.
Sure.
Because depend on the marks you get sorted into what kind of university you can go to, what kind of field you could go to, and only the highest marks they cut it off somewhere, and only the highest marks can be a doctor, and that being a doctor is something to boast about. So
I look at it in this way. I think the way we categorize intelligence is memory based.
Yeah.
So if you get really good grades on your SATs or your national exams to entry university, it just means you have a good memory.
Yes, yes. Our education system is all about memorization, and it gets worse actually. And they don't really test your intelligence. But SAT, I think might be a little bit different.
Oh, how so? I've never taken it, so I don't know.
Actually, you do memorize it, but there's a time crunch, and it's about application, just like you said. It's about knowing how to use what you know in the most fastest way possible, because there's a time crunch.
Right.
Yeah, but the high school system and even the university in our country is based on memorization. You get higher marks the more you can recite everything that you learn from the textbook, and actually the more correct. How do you say that?
Yeah. The higher accuracy?
Yeah, the higher accuracy you can recite back from your textbook, the higher marks you get. So
that's silly.
yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's silly.
The children learns nothing.
Yeah.
They might be able to recite everything back to you, but they don't know anything
Like
about
critical judgment and separation, like how to choose.
No critical thinking.
Yeah, that's the word I was trying to get at. And with all of that knowledge, you kind of need some critical thinking, you know?
Yeah. Actually, at that point, you can't even call that knowledge anymore, because
Yeah.
they're just words spewing out of their mouths.
Pretty much, because your brain is not supposed to hold, like, it's not like a computer, you know? It's not supposed to hold information. It's supposed to be used for creative thinking, critical thinking, outside the box thinking, or just nothing.
Actually, international schools are good about it. They did focus on critical thinking.
Did you go to international schools?
Nope.
No, but your mom worked at them.
Yeah. And I am so envious of them. But it's expensive.
Oh, right.
Yeah. They get a better education system, I guess. They actually teach students something.
What was it? Waldorf?
I'm sorry?
Waldorf education system?
I don't know.
There's this... My mom sent me this video of this different kind of education system where it's not based on memory, it's more based on, like, different kinds of intelligences. And seeing how different kind of intelligence works together in terms of, like, finishing a project or something like that. I think that's way more... I don't know, to be perfectly honest, from a very early age, I think because I was in different contexts, you know, like I didn't go to Turkey, I didn't start my education in Turkey, but I started in America. But when I came back to Turkey, I was like, oh, this is quite garbage. So seeing the difference made me realize how schools are just modeled after prisons in America as well. So it's just keeping people occupied, keeping their minds occupied, and in the end, producing subservient, obedient, smart people who can recite things. Because 2 times 2 is 5. 2 times 2 is 5, and everyone's like 2 times 2 is 5. You know, like, that's the goal.
Yeah.
But there are, I think these days, you can tell me more about it because you're more, like, you've done the therapy for people.
Not actually therapy.
Is there a change? Is there a shift in the way people think?
Nope.
No?
No. Like I said, there's like a difference, right? These public school students don't actually have that much of a thinking skills. It might change when they go to university, I guess. But without that, they don't think much. They don't know how to think, actually.
How do you think? How to think?
No, in a way that, the critical thinking and stuff, because they just, like, they learn something and they only know how to use it in the way that they learned. They can't use it in different settings. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Elon Musk has like a good way of describing how to teach people, and it's generally it's not like, okay, so here is a book, this is what you use the book for. Here is a microphone, this is what you use the microphone for. Here is a computer, here's a glass, this is what you use that for. So instead of like introducing tools and then telling them what they're good for, introduce the problem, or like a machine, or let's say, okay, let's take this microphone apart. We're going to use this tool to take this, because this tool helps us do this. It could also help us do other things, but now it's helping us do this. Another tool is helping us do it. So if you have a task or a problem or something and you introduce tools through that way, it sticks better. Like people, you don't need to explain what the tool is for anymore, because like people see what they use the tool for.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Like different kind of engineering perspective.
I don't know why people don't use it.
Use what?
Use that kind of teaching.
Well, because it doesn't produce obedient people.
Yeah.
Because you can't have, like, okay, I get it from one perspective too. You can't have everyone just being like wild thinkers, you know? You need some people to conform, you need other people to like not ask you many questions, and you need some people to do all the hurting, you know? You go this way, you go that way. It's everyone is not the same. But there's aspects in humanity that we should respect, you know? And the biggest problem I have is these people who are hurting people, you know? It's like, oh, you go here, you go there. They get this ego trip. It's like, okay, just because you have a different position doesn't mean you're any, like, more significant or less significant than the people that you're giving direction to, you know? You're still the same. And that's when, like, the compassion and benevolence and love comes in. I think if people are giving so much power, they don't operate from a position of love or like a perspective of love anymore, you know? There's no care, empathy, understanding, kindness. It's just like, you know, like, I'm different, I'm separate.
Power drunk.
Yeah. You see that playing out in the world?
I do. A lot.
But like, let's treat this as like your friends in high school. How would you give us some suggestions to change the course of this? At least in our little lives, you know? We can't change the world, but we can change our little lives.
You mean like those who are acting like that way?
Yeah.
How do I change them?
You don't need to change them. You just need to like position yourself in a way that you're not taking so much damage.
Hard. I've never think about that before.
This is your SAT. Use whatever you have.
Nah, I can't think about it right now. What do you think?
I was hoping you give an answer for that.
It's kind of a loaded question to think on spot.
I know it is, but at the same time, I think it's you can't fight fire with fire, but I think you can fight love with love, or the lack thereof. You know, if there's a lack of understanding and compassion and love, you just go at it with like a lot of love. I watched this movie. I mentioned it in class because it's a Thai movie, 1999, called Nang Nak.
Oh.
Yeah, so movie Nak's movie. I don't know. It's the premise is like there's a wife and a husband, and the husband goes away for war, and he comes back, and he's like spending time with his wife, but the neighbors keep saying, "Dude, your wife is dead." Like,
Oh.
and he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? My wife is..." But like he's living in his mind basically.
Oh.
It's a cool movie. Like the premise is nice, and it's a real story too. And it gets a little scary, but it's like 1999, so their scary is just like jump cuts, and it's like old style scary. You know, it's not that scary. But there was two types of guys, two types of monks that tried to help the guy, because the guy's dealing with a ghost, right?
Yeah.
So the first guy dealing with the ghost was a little aggressive. You know, it's like, "Oh, get out of this, you know, like leave us, like, you know, like dig the corpse, hit the head with the rock kind of thing." And there was another monk who suggested the guy after the war, like this was the first monk that we see in the movie. He was like, "You know what, like maybe it's better if you stay here, like become a monk, you know, like you did all of this stuff in the war, you killed a lot of people, so you don't pay off that karma, maybe." You know? And he's like, no, I want to go back to my wife and do all that stuff. So that guy comes back in the picture, and he treats the ghost, who's like really angry, with like love and compassion, and like it comes from a place of like really understanding, you know. And then the ghost reacts a different way. So I think just fighting it with love and compassion would be...
Actually, it would work out in real life too, actually. Empathy, I guess. It's just people, when you understand them, it kind of gets a little easier to deal with, right? And maybe just your first step, you take the first step to understand them and kind of give them, like you said, compassion, love, and maybe they would return it.
But you don't do it because they would return it.
No, but from, like you said, to change them, I guess it would be the first step. I don't know.
Is there like an example in your life where you showed someone compassion and they kind of changed?
They haven't, but it's getting there. Because it just doesn't change in like just and change overnight, right? It's kind of a long process, and you are not doing with the purpose of changing them, right?
Of course.
But everyone has this reason to be, I don't know, arrogant, bad at that kind of qualities. So when you understand them and knows where it's coming from, it's get easier to deal with, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it in words.
No, I get what you're saying. It's it's good to act with the end in mind, but it's not necessarily a must where you must see the results, you know. Like, it's like, oh, I'm doing this because I care about people. But here's a question. So you've done the therapy. How can I empathize? I know, I'm just exaggerating a bit. How can I empathize if I, let's say, I want to empathize with you, right? But I'm not a woman. How do I empathize?
Gender doesn't really matter, is it?
I'm just giving you an example. I didn't have, my country's not in a similar position than yours, or I don't have the same upbringing as you, or like I'm in a different strata of society, right? How can I empathize when empathy is difficult?
You listen. Yeah. Actually, it just comes down to conversation, communication, listening.
Communication, rule the nation.
Yes, I think empathy comes from listening and understanding
Yes.
people. Yeah, right? Because you can't actually empathize with them if you don't understand them. So it's like the first step, I guess.
That's the entry.
Uh-huh. And yeah, I don't know.
Nice. So tell me more about your did you think that you were going to study computer engineering?
Actually, I was going to be a doctor.
Ah.
I wanted to be a heart surgeon. But to become a doctor, it takes a lot of time
Yep.
and a lot of investment, and I can't afford that. So I went to robotics.
Yeah.
But I still want to, help people in this medical sort of thing. So I plan on being a first responder. You just need to take the exam,
Right.
and you could be, I don't know, the ambulance, in the ambulance, the first responder. So I want to do that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you have this sense of helping people that's a quality of you. Like in a psychological way or in a physical way.
Psychological, I guess. You know this quote? I don't remember the exact wording, but it's about how you don't feel real unless you are being needed, that kind of thing.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's deep.
I have that kind of mindset, I guess. I want to help people, I want to feel needed.
That might turn into a toxic trait, though.
Yeah. It is toxic.
A little bit. It's like, because I've seen some extremes where people help other people, especially people with low or no options, and they like to have people dependent on them.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Not that heavy.
Yeah. Well, that's an extreme, but you get what I'm saying, right? Yeah.
But no, I just want to help heal people, I guess. Because even as I'm doing computer science thing and all the stuff, but I still daydream about helping people. I guess it's kind of like an immediate effect you can see.
Right.
Because in computer science, you developed website, software. It doesn't help anything.
Right. Well, but you don't see it immediately.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to see the immediate results. So, yep.
You're on that immediate gratification.
I guess. The low dopamine people.
Yeah. What does that allow you to do, though? Like when you feel that, oh, I helped someone, and I immediately saw the results. How does that help you?
I feel happy. I feel like I this sense of accomplishment. I get high on it.
Oh, I see. So it's for selfish reasons, actually, to help other people.
Yeah. In a way that I am very selfish, and I tell my mom about that I am selfish, but they just don't believe it, I guess. How do I... she told me about how this is like a selfless selfishness, because it stems from my selfishness, but in the end you are helping people for the benefits of others. So it still benefits people. It's still for the good of the other. So in a way it's good.
Yeah, at least a negative trait is maneuvered into, like, a very strong wind can blow your house down, but it can also, if you have a sail, it can help you get to the island, right?
Yeah. It's more like you just kind of recognize what your bad trait is, and if you can't change them, you use them for good.
Right. That's a good way to look at it. If you can't change them, just use them for good.
Use them for good.
Hold on. I wanted to ask you a question.
I feel like there's a lot of mental health issue I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So much messed up stuff.
Well, I mean, that's the state of the world these days, no?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're on this sort of healing journey, I would like to frame it as, you know? Because however you think about it is the way it is, you know? Because, I don't know, I think we are creating our reality as we go.
Oh, I love that. I love that sentence.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like I think we're in a simulation. It's not real. Like, you're not real, I'm not real, none of this is real. Yeah. But we are making it up as we go, just like in speech.
Ooh.
I didn't plan any of this. Like, we're just like riffing off of each other and seeing, because I don't know, I can't it's like, what's your podcast about? The easiest way I can say is like travel and people, you know, because that's generally what it's all about. But if I had to say my method, if I had to like tell people how I choose people to have on the podcast, I cannot. It's just the feeling, you know? And that's the part where we go, like, we make up as we go. I think, like, I don't know if you've played any games where there's like this character, and the parts where the character moves, you can see, but the rest of it is like dark.
Still locked up.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I feel like consciousness is, you know? I heard this really cool way of describing it. I forget who was it by. Christabel. I had her on the show as well, and she was describing consciousness as, imagine we're in this big storage place, like in a big hangar, like, you know, planes, or like a big Amazon sort of like storage unit.
Okay.
Huge building, you know, like all sorts of stuff. That's the universe. And you, as your, you know, awareness is like a little candle. You can't see shit, you know. You have to go close to the thing, you have to look at the thing, and that's awareness, that's consciousness. And the way I see how these conversations pan out is, it's less about me, it's more about, hey, look at what my consciousness is bringing attention to, you know. I am the light, you are the light. You're bringing attention to robotics, you're bringing attention to helping other people, you're bringing attention to all these things that you want other people to see, you know, in a sense. So in that way, it's just imagined, you know. Whatever you give your attention to is the world around you, in that sense. And a lot of people say when you die, boom, they just turn on the lights in the whole hangar, so you get to see everything. Yeah. But you choose to go back in the dark because it's more, I suppose we're learning things.
No, I like that concept.
It's not a concept, it's what we're living through. It's what we're experiencing.
Your perspective of thinking.
Yeah. I don't know, what do you think this is? Do you think it's very literal?
No. I never think about that before. But I guess, yeah.
Or like, were you raised religious? Like, did you have like a little background in?
I am raised religious, but I'm more like an atheist.
Okay.
I don't really believe in that kind of thing, because you can't actually see them. But I'm interested in all these gods and stuff.
You're aware that we don't see much, right?
Yeah.
And you're also aware that we don't hear much.
Mm-hmm.
So you surely don't think that this is limited, like the limited stuff that we get to experience is the entire thing.
You know how we only see like a certain part of color range,
Yes.
right? And depending on how much color cones you have, you see more of the colors and stuff. It's kind of like that, I guess.
So people have different range of.
And I mean, like, there may be a lot more than you see, but you are only seeing this range and experiencing this range, so you are kind of limited in this. But we can't see more than that, so we just have to work with that, right?
Yeah, work with what you got. No, I want to see everything.
It could be that one shrimp that could see so much color cones. What is that? I forgot again.
Yeah, like cats can hear more, dogs can hear more. Yeah, it's a wild world. Have you traveled outside of Myanmar or Thailand?
Nope.
Nope.
This is my first travel.
How does it feel so far?
Great.
Great, right?
Yeah. And Thai people are so very helpful.
Oh, very helpful.
Yeah,
Very helpful.
I was so scared, but they were helpful. Or maybe I just look like a child. I'm a child, so they helped a lot.
How old are you, by the way?
20.
20?
Yeah.
Wee. You're in the 20s now. Yeah, it's a good time to be alive. I thoroughly enjoyed my 20s. Yeah.
I can't wait to enjoy my 20s.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be great. Is there a list of places you would like to visit in the world?
I want to go to Italy and Japan.
Japan. I actually want to do that next year.
Ooh.
Japan. Yeah.
You know Japanese?
I don't. No. I'm struggling with Thai. That's where I'm at with Asian languages now. I'm struggling with Thai. Give me a few tips on how to be a good student. Because I was always you're always A student. I can sense that. Straight A's. I was always a B student.
Oh.
Always like 3 out of 4. That's my grade overall.
That is good.
High school and middle school, uni, 340, 360, 3.6 out of 4, 3.4 out of 4.
That's good enough, though.
It's good enough.
Yeah.
It's good enough. It's not like so low that you barely pass, you know? And it's not like really, really good that you're like the nerd. So it's like acceptable. But I do want to get a little better. How do I do that? How do I make it more fun?
If you're interested in the subject, the main reason I'm like acing my subject is because I am interested in them, and the more you get interested in it, you just go beyond what they are teaching, right? Like I said before, I love Wikipedia rabbit holes. They teach just this much, and the more you are interested in it, you just go off and find your own, read about it, and that kind of interest makes it more memorizable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But how do you first initially get that interest? That's my question. Like, how do I operate from a perspective of I'm actually interested in this, rather than like kind of like you trick your brain into it. Yes.
Because
now we're getting somewhere.
Okay, because when you think that, oh my god, I have to do this, you kind of build a negative association about it, and it gets worse because I've read about that when you're procrastinating, your brain is like protecting from this because they are perceiving this tasks as something hurtful for you. So like they are protecting you from being hurt. That's why you are procrastinating.
Thank you, brain.
Yes. You just keep yourself from getting to that part, to that level, I guess, to not associate this thing you are learning as something that is negative. That's like something that would cause you pain, because your brain is gonna think, oh, this is not good for you, you have to get away from it, and you procrastinate and all this stuff that follows. So, and there's like a thing where they say motivation follows action, some kind of thing. So just break it down what you are learning,
Right.
and it doesn't matter that you have to finish the whole thing. Just, I don't know, maybe read about it, like a few things, and motivation will follow, I guess, in my experience at least.
Wait, so action follows motivation then?
Yeah.
So first you act and then the motivation comes?
Yeah. And then you get interested in it.
So like dance around it. If you don't want to do the thing, like dance around it until you want to do the thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
And don't think of yourself like, this is what I have to do.
Yeah, don't look at it as a dude.
Yeah.
Like man perspective.
Oh, for the family, I have to feed the kids.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, having a more soft focus is probably better for long term.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, let's face it, for me to learn Thai is going to take a whole life. You know? Like to be as expressive as I am in the 2 other languages that I know. Because I don't like... I speak 8 languages, and like the only thing you can say is introduce yourself. Okay, good, like good for you. But when I say I speak languages, I speak languages. So I can hold a conversation in philosophy, I can hold down a conversation in economy, I can talk about anything in English, I can talk about anything in Turkish. I want to be able to talk about anything in Thai. And for
that's gonna take a long time.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to make it fun. If it's not fun, then I won't spend time doing it, like now. Because it's hard to choose from all these interesting things, you know? Like I was looking forward to this conversation for so much. I don't look forward to the studying Thai as much as I look forward to doing these conversations.
You know, I don't actually study Thai. I just use it in conversation, like, and then I want to know how to say this, and then that leads to studying Thai.
That's your dance around it.
Yeah, you dance around it. Yeah, maybe because I'm like naturally curious person. I don't know, but yeah, the curiosity and interest just follows afterwards, and then comes motivation.
Wise words.
Ooh.
Why do you want to go to Japan?
I love Japan. I watch animes, right? Animes, and I feel like Japan would be like match my vibes.
I think so too, yeah. That might be a really good fit for you.
Yeah, I got this feeling too. And even though I've never been there before, I know I would belong there. That kind of feeling.
And do you feel the same way with Italy?
Italy, I want to go there because I want to eat gelato.
That is, you just like strung, like plucked the string of my hearts because plucked a string in my heart because I travel for food mainly, I like to try different foods people make and eat. And after living in Turkey for such a long time, because when I came back I was still like a kid, 10, 11, 12 years old. And I've only gotten the chance to visit 3 countries while I was in Turkey. One was the Netherlands.
Ooh.
That was quite different than what we have in Turkey. They have like chocolate breakfast, you know. They have like toast with like sprinkles on it for breakfast. They have like stroopwafel. Is something like, it's a caramel waffle. It's like a thin waffle. You put it on top of your cup, and then the hot coffee just kind of makes it softer. And then when you eat it, it's like, oh. I love that. As a high school kid, they have like sweet breakfast. It's like, yes. That was quite different. So that I kind of like that. Serbia and Georgia. Those are 2 close places in Turkey that I don't really need a visa to travel. Those weren't that different. I felt like it was very close to Turkey. So I was like, okay, if I want to travel, I want to go somewhere really different. Because, okay, we have Turkish kebab, and Serbia has like cevapi or something. You know, it's like the same stuff, but in a like a dialect. You know, same with Georgia. Like there's different things, but there's also like it's related to each other, so it's not as novel for me. So I always want to travel somewhere very far away, mainly for food. And Italy has probably my favorite food.
You've been there?
No.
Oh.
I want to. I want to go there when I'm 40 though. Like 40 or 50.
Oh,
Yeah.
why?
You know, like because I feel like that's how you enjoy Italy.
That's a strange take.
Why?
Because most people told to travel when you're young, right?
Yeah.
Huh. So.
But I think they say that because, okay, like I've heard go to India like when you're younger, if you want to go to India. Because when you're older, you don't want to deal with all of that, you know? Like it's easier to deal with all the bullshit when you're younger, you know? I guess that's why people say, for India specifically, or like any other country that's like, it's a journey to like do all the things that you want to do. But for places like Italy, I think there needs to be some level of wealth for you to enjoy these places. And I think I will be at that level in around those times.
Okay, now I relate you.
Yeah. Like Europe, you need to apply for visa. Like, you know, for you and I, it's like not like a walk in the park, you know? It's like imagine all the stuff that you're doing for the scholarship, but worse.
Exactly. And besides, passport is very weak. So it's gonna take even more work.
Yeah. But as long as you have something to contribute, like I thoroughly enjoy like having my name on this podcast, because wherever I go in the world, I can be like, hey, I'm preserving your culture, your heritage, your like, I want to stay here more because I want to talk to more people, and you know, like help you have like a solid cultural knowledge base or something. I don't know, like I can find a way to utilize this as like a journalist almost, you know. And this is what I think what we're doing, you know, like we're just doing journalism in a sense.
No, it's like blogging.
Yeah, it's blogging, but it's way more fun. Nice. Okay, let's see how long it's been. Wait, let's have you guess. No, that's not real. How long do you think we've been talking for?
I don't know, an hour?
And 12 minutes.
Didn't know that much time
I
has.
know. Time rolls on the microphone.
You want to go to Japan?
I do want to go to Japan. I want to go soon too.
For food?
For food. For food and for... So growing up, I heard a lot of stories about Japan because my dad traveled a lot in Southeast Asia. So he came to Thailand. I even have like funny Thai clothes, like I wore Thai clothes as a kid. You know, like they bring the little baby Thai clothes and they put it on you and like they post pictures and stuff. But yeah, he would always talk about how Japan is so neat, people are very nice, and you know, You put down the umbrellas and no one steals anything. You know, it's very like a Neverland. You know, like a utopia almost. So I want to make my own judgments, because you know, it's all, life is perspective.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's why I love to do this podcast. It's collecting a lot of perspectives. But when I was climbing, like rock climbing, I've quickly found out that it's, let's say, like to climb up this stick is difficult for you, but it's your perspective. It's your, like, you're judging based on your skills and your interest and your all of that. But for me, it might be a little easier, because I would put my back here, I would put my legs over there, and just like walk up there. You know, I'll find a way to do it if I really want to do it, and that's my perspective. So I want to make my own conclusions and my own judgments when people tell me, oh, this is good or this is bad. You know, so mainly that's why I want to travel. I want to make my own conclusions about things. And I don't travel in the sense that a lot of other people do this traveling thing. It's mainly because they want to put it on their Instagram and say 141 countries, 6 continents, I've seen it all. Like, who are you? It's like, no, you haven't been to Chiang Mai if you've only seen an elephant and then you had some food in Old Town. You know, that's, you did the tourist things.
Yeah.
You've been here, but you haven't traveled in my book. And you could say, fuck you, Fatih, we don't care about your book. Okay, yeah, that's also very fine. But I think there needs to be a fair chance that you give to people in places. And with places, it's not like a week or two, you know, it's not a month or two even. Month or two is a little bit more respectable, but I think to fully get the experience, you have to live somewhere for a year or two. You need like a full cycle or two. And then you can say that, okay, like I kind of know what's going on here. Yeah. So in that sense, like, if you're a avid traveler and like, let's say you're super lucky because your parents are international, like they work in international schools or like they travel or whatever. So from my perspective, let's say you spend 3 years at each country and you start traveling at 6 years old. Let's say you live until like 76 or like 86.
Okay.
Right, let's say you lived a very happy life because you're traveling until you're 96, right? So you have 90 years that you can travel you can only go to 30 countries.
Holy.
In my book.
Uh-huh.
To like fully experience their whole customs and like get to know people and collect memories and all that stuff. Sure, some places are gonna be less than other places, you know, because if you go at a place like let's think of a Vatican, I don't think you're gonna spend 3 years in Vatican. Maybe you will. I don't know. Are there a lot of Christians in Myanmar?
Not much, but there are. Because majority of it is Buddhist.
Oh, Buddhists, right? Yeah, no.
But they, it's like the first religion is Buddhist, and then second is Christian. So there are a few, but not much.
I see. And you were saying, I cut you off there. You said you weren't raised religious, or you were raised religious, but now you're kind of atheist.
I don't know what to say, but there's a lot of what do you say that, gaslighting in our religion, because that's like an old saying passed down in this country religion traditions, and it's not the actual teaching of the Buddha.
Sure.
But there's like a little bit twisted into what they want, and I don't like that stuff.
Yes, classic. Yeah, it's everywhere in the world. Yeah, I don't subscribe to that way of interpreting religion either, because I think religion should be a story. for you to take the parts that are relevant and important to you.
Yeah.
And that can only do that by reading yourself and trying to understand whatever, because okay, you might be, first grader, like you might be very fundamental, you might be super scholar, and everyone's going to take something different. I look at religious texts as art. Just like when we go to a gallery or like a fashion show or something, you see something different, I see something different. Your cones, you have different cones than I have, right? Same with mental. I think you have different receptors than I do, and you take whatever is useful for you, and I take whatever is useful for me. And only in that way we can compare and contrast and see like how it manifests in our life, and then we can offer like suggestions. Okay, like I don't think it worked for you because you took this part and you didn't take that part, but you were meant to take them as a whole. You can't take the ugly and the beautiful separately. You have to take them all.
Okay, so
Go on.
like you said, you have to take in your own perspective, right? But in our country, it's more of like, this is what the religion is. This is this. There's no perspective. Like there is no different way to do this kind of thing.
Holy shit, they're here, go. Yeah. So there's like one way, or like my way or the highway.
Yeah, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, I can't work with that. Yeah, I was telling this on another episode with Daniel. He's an American guy who served in the military.
Ooh.
And he quit outside.
Oh.
And he was in Germany. He said, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. And yeah, he's living in Chiang Mai, and he's like having the best time of his life. And when I asked him, like, what's your take on should people stay in America or go or leave? Because same thing's happening in Turkey as well. Different style, but same thing at the core of it, I think. And we kind of came up with this, if you can't beat them, join them mentality. If you can't beat them, leave them. Leave. Just leave. Because some people have the option, some people don't have the option. I understand. If you can leave physically, and go somewhere where you're treated better. When like where people are helpful, where they understand what you can bring. Because you're a smart person. I think I'm smart in another way. I'm emotionally intelligent, so I can offer this intelligence to people and see where it goes. If I don't do that, then I'm going to get sour, then I'm going to get negative and not really helpful to my own people, like if I stay. So for people like you and me, it's, I think, a better way to leave. If you want to leave but you cannot, you mentally leave. You check out mentally. Like you don't give any attention to the propaganda, news, whatever, like you don't give your life's force into this stuff. Because if you do, then it's just like... So, I don't know. That's my take.
I guess it's currently my situation. I guess I am leaving mentally, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, physically too. You're not there physically.
Not actually physically. I still do the stuff.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're like, what do you mean?
Religious stuff.
Oh, okay. I forgot that we were there before we got here. Nice.
Change it.
Yeah. T, I could do this forever. Well, I am doing it forever, I feel like. Because like every other day I just meet someone new. And it's a really nice way to start your day, Because you just talk to someone and like they offer some perspective. Oh, like you live your day through that lens, which is like awesome,
And I kind of like what you're doing, actually, because it's very interesting to meet new people and kind of learn what they see the world as, I guess. I love that kind.
Yeah, because just like you have a very deep mind, a lot of other people have like a deep mind as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all, if you let it kind of just like a blanket, you know, it's like covering you, you know, and you're kind of like under the warmth of other people's minds almost. That's how I sense, at least. And then you're like, oh yeah, that's a heavy blanket. Feel warm. Feels good. Because a lot of times I think people feel like they're alone in their own minds. Like they don't, no one understands them.
No, that's a lonely place to be.
No. But a lot of people feel that way. Even the most social people, especially the most social people. But if people can, you know, watch this and feel a little less worried, a little less alone, my job's done. It's less like a job, it's more of a play. My play is significant, let's say, you know, in a way that it helps people to feel like they're not alone. Because that's what we live in, right? Like in small little apartments, like separated from each other. There's no families living together anymore. Well, more so in Asia, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love your concept. I love what you're doing.
Takes one to know one. I like what you're doing too.
Oh really?
Yeah. It's good robotic, helping people. First respondent?
Responder, yeah.
I think helping robots is gonna be something relevant soon. Like you can be like a heart surgeon for a robot.
They have that, don't they?
They do?
Robotic hands, small little things, and these hands are doing the surgery, but the doctor is controlling from the outside.
I want a surgery like that on my knee.
Oh.
Yeah. Like a laparoscopy, like with like a little probe that goes in. They just make 2 holes, and one of them is like the camera, the other one is the tools.
Yeah.
And
what happened though?
Oh, I tore my meniscus.
Okay.
When I was climbing. Not fun.
You fell?
No, I just I think I bent too much, and then you know, like the connective tissue, like ACL, MCL, like all the stuff in the knee is kind of like a really tight, tight. Not muscles, but they're like connective tissues and ligaments. And the one between, like the medial meniscus, is like the cushion between this bone, the femur, and this bone. So
for your movement.
Yes. So going up is very fine, but going downhill, when there's like a lot of shock, there's nothing in between my bones. So essentially, my bones are touching.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's really fucking painful.
That hurts.
I gotta fix that soon. So maybe your robots will help me.
I hope. I was actually want to make this personal robots. Like you have you seen this desktop robots? This big.
Okay.
And the most they can do is show you time. That's all, and you can like pat them, and they would vibrate like a cat purring.
Nice.
And add that with like Siri kind of. Alexa kind of personal assistant, and you got a desktop robot.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah. And actually I think it's more for lonely people, I guess, because you get this companion here while you're working, and it's better than being lonely, right?
Right. And better than being with someone who's obnoxious, you know?
No.
So, okay, I wanted human attention, but not that much.
Like medical robots are good too, but it would take a lot of studying, and I'm not sure if I can go there.
Yeah, but I think this is, you know, like a little AI implemented little robot to, you know, make your day a little brighter.
Yes. and they are cute.
Oh. Wow, I like the way you think.
Mm.
And then steal people's information. It's like cute and lovely. It's like, hey, why don't you tell me your social security number? What's your password to your bank account?
Now that's the kind of future people are afraid of
I know,
when
right?
they think about AI, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
What do you think? Go on. Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
especially now there's like ChatGPT and stuff. It is a bit scary on how they are invasive on your privacy. But I hope things won't go there in the future.
It can go anywhere, and that's why it's so fun.
Yeah.
I think it, like, remember I was like telling you we were in a simulation.
Mm-hmm.
I think AI might help us out of the simulation.
Mm.
That's one possible scenario.
Mm.
Like, we can use AI to outthink. I don't think we can, but it's one possible entertaining scenario.
Mm-hmm.
We might be headed really fast into total destruction. That's another possible scenario.
Yeah, I hope it don't go there.
Yeah, me neither. Another possible, it's endless, you know. We can fantasize about all these scenarios
Mm-hmm.
as long as we want. Yes. This is a really nice vantage point for the cafe. Sick. Do you come here often?
No?
Oh, it's the first time you visit.
Yeah.
Nice. And it's close to your house, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's the other cafe you mentioned, I've been there before, so, and this one like, this is a new cafe.
Oh, you haven't been here, but you've been to the Orb.
Yeah.
I keep suggesting the Orb to people, like, oh, let's shoot over there, let's record the episode. And they're like, I've been there.
Mm.
I haven't been there.
Oh, really?
I want to go there too. Maybe I should just go there and, like, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're out of caffeine. Oh, no. It's an hour, 30 minutes too. All right, T. Do you have any goodbye ideas, goodbye thoughts?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any parting words or ideas you would like to share with the audience?
Because I don't have any wisdom words.
No. It doesn't have to be wisdom. It could be like a little commercial. It could be like, anything that pops into your mind right now.
Be positive.
Be positive.
Because people don't actually see in positive light, I guess. Most of the time they expect the worst.
Survival.
And it really changes things when you approach it positively, I guess. Be positive.
Be positive, people. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you
Yeah.
for inviting me.
Of course. I had a wonderful time.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, dear listeners, for tuning in. This was another episode, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.